If you are constantly asking, negotiating, or hoping for someone to hand you money, that is the exact reason why you are staying broke. You are trapped in the energy of the beggar. Think about the last time you had to ask someone for money, the sweaty palms, the racing heart, the rehearsed speech trying to figure out the magical combination of words to convince another human being to open their wallet. You put them on a pedestal. You walked into that interaction hoping for a scrap of validation. Today I'm going to show you exactly why this behavior of begging is cancelling your wealth. And more importantly, I'm going to teach you the ultimate Neville Goddard technique of what to do instead. Money does not come from people. Money comes through people. The person sitting across the desk from you, the client reading your email, the boss reviewing your salary, they do not have the ultimate power to deny you wealth. They are not the source. They are simply the messengers. And right now they are delivering the exact financial script that your own subconscious mind wrote for them. If you want to become truly wealthy, you must stop begging the messenger and you must start commanding the source. If you are ready to stop being a beggar in your own reality, if you are ready to finally step into the position of the master and dictate how the world responds to you, take a brief moment to subscribe to this channel. We are actively decoding the matrix of wealth and manifestation, and you absolutely belong here with us. Let us deeply examine the humiliation of asking. Society has conditioned you to believe that your financial worth is a negotiation. You are taught that you must present your value to the world and then wait in suspense to see if the world agrees with you. You hope that your boss is in a good mood on a Tuesday afternoon. You hope that the economy is stable enough for the client to say yes. You live your entire life at the mercy of external circumstances and the unpredictable decisions of other people. But this entire paradigm is a massive, carefully constructed illusion. The great mystic Neville Goddard laughed at the idea of trying to force the outside world to change. He taught a concept that is simultaneously the most terrifying and the most liberating truth you will ever encounter. It is the concept that everyone is you pushed out. This is not a metaphor. This is the literal physics of the quantum universe you are inhabiting. Your reality is a three-dimensional projection of your internal assumptions, and the people in your life are simply the actors hired to play out the script you are secretly holding in your mind. To truly understand this, we must use the metaphor of the mirror. Imagine you wake up in the morning, you walk into your bathroom, and you look in the mirror. You see that your hair is a complete mess. What do? Do you reach out with your comb and start aggressively scratching the surface of the glass, trying to force the reflection to comb its hair? Do you yell at the mirror? Do you present a logical argument to the mirror, begging it to please change its appearance so you can have a good day? If you did that, anyone watching would think you had lost your mind. You know instinctively that the mirror has no power to change itself. The mirror only reflects. If you want the image in the glass to change, you simply ignore the glass, you take the comb to your own head, you fix your own hair, and the reflection is instantly and effortlessly forced to change. It has no choice. Now, apply this exact, undeniable logic to your financial life. Your boss is the glass. Your clients are the glass. The people who owe you money are the glass. When your boss looks at you and says, "You are doing a great job, but we just do not have the budget to give you a raise right now," what do you normally do? You try to argue. You pull out a spreadsheet showing all your hard work. You try to convince him. You get angry. You go home and complain to your friends about how unfair the company is. My friend, you are scratching the glass of the mirror. You are trying to force the reflection to smile while you are internally frowning. You must understand that the people denying you money do not have free will in your reality. I know that sounds controversial. I know the ego hates to hear it. But in the realm of your personal manifestation, the external world is a slave to your internal state. When you walk into a negotiation carrying a deep subconscious assumption that you are undervalued, that money is hard to get, or that people always take advantage of you, the universe must prove you right. The universe will look around, find the person you are interacting with, and override their conscious mind. It will compel them to say no. It will force them to lowball your offer. It will make them delay the payment. And the fascinating part is, that person will walk away thinking it was their own logical, independent business decision. They will have a perfectly rational excuse for why they did not pay you. But behind the curtain, they were just a puppet pulled by the invisible strings of your own assumptions. This is why trying to manipulate people in the physical world is exhausting and rarely works. You are treating them as independent variables. You are treating them as gods who hold the keys to your bank account. You must strip them of that authority. You must look at the client who rejected you or the boss who denied your raise and realize that they are completely innocent. They only read the lines you handed to them. They only reflected the exact level of wealth you actually feel you deserve. When this truth finally sinks into your bones, a profound sense of peace will wash over you. The anxiety of sales, the fear of negotiation, and the terror of rejection will completely vanish. Because how can you fear a rejection when you know that the no did not originate from them? It originated from you. And if the no came from you, then you have the absolute, undeniable power to change it to a yes without ever opening your physical mouth to speak to them again. You do not need to be a smooth talker. You do not need a better sales pitch. You do not need to beg. You just need to change the script. But this begs the ultimate question. If you are the master playwright of your reality, how are you accidentally commanding these people to deny you the wealth you so desperately want? You are not doing it on purpose. You are doing it in the most innocent, overlooked, and dangerous moments of your day. You are writing the script of your own financial rejection while you are taking a shower. You are writing it while you are driving your car. You are writing it through a silent, invisible mechanism that runs 24 hours a day. And until you learn to master this invisible machine, you will continue to hand the actors the exact wrong lines. You are writing the script of your own financial rejection every single day, and you are doing it in the most innocent, unguarded moments of your life. You are doing it while you are washing your hair. You are doing it while you are stuck in traffic. To understand how you are accidentally commanding people to deny you wealth, we must uncover the second massive reward of our time together today. We must diagnose the invisible disease that is killing your manifestations. This disease is your inner talking. Neville Goddard taught that your inner conversations are the true breeding ground of your future reality. Most people in the manifestation community believe that the universe only listens to them during the 10 minutes they spend visualizing right before they fall asleep. They think they can script in their journal for 5 minutes in the morning, aggressively visualize a pile of cash, and then spend the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of the day mentally arguing with their reality. But the subconscious mind does not clock out. The subconscious mind does not take a lunch break. It is constantly recording the audio of your internal world, and it is using that audio to manufacture your physical tomorrow. Let us look at a scenario that you have absolutely participated in. You are taking a shower before work. You know that today is the day you're going to ask your boss for a raise, or perhaps you're going to call a client to close a massive deal. The hot water is running over your shoulders, and your mind begins to wander. Before you even realize what is happening, you are rehearsing the conversation. But you are not rehearsing a victory. You are rehearsing a battle. You imagine yourself standing in the office, and you imagine your boss looking at you with a stern expression. You actually hear his voice in your mind. You hear him say that the company is struggling, that the economy is bad, and that they simply cannot afford to pay you more right now. Then, in your imagination, you start to defend yourself. You mentally argue back. You list all the extra hours you worked. You get emotionally invested in this imaginary fight. Your heart rate actually speeds up. You feel a knot of anxiety and righteous anger in your stomach. You step out of the shower feeling defensive, exhausted, and defeated. And the real physical conversation has not even happened yet. What did you just do? You think you were just preparing yourself for the worst-case scenario. You think you were just being realistic and planning your counter-arguments. But in the realm of the law of assumption, you just committed financial sabotage. You just wrote a tragic script, printed it out, and handed it directly to the actor. Because everyone is you pushed out, that person has absolutely no choice but to conform to the dominant conversation you just had with them in your mind. You commanded them to reject you. You supplied them with the exact excuses they are going to use. You fed them the lines. And when you finally walk into their physical office a few hours later, and they look at you and say the exact words you imagined them saying in the shower, you will walk away thinking, I knew it. I knew he was going to say that. I am so unlucky. You are not unlucky. You are just a very powerful creator who is completely unaware of your own power. You are a master playwright who forgot that the actors are forced to read your script. If you want people to hand you money, you must completely eradicate these defensive inner conversations. You must put yourself on a strict mental diet. The moment you catch yourself arguing with a client in your head, the moment you catch yourself rehearsing a scenario where someone tells you that your product is too expensive, you must stop immediately. You must interrupt the pattern. You must tell yourself, I am the author of this play, and I do not write tragedies. You must realize that the physical conversation you are about to have is completely irrelevant. The true negotiation, the only negotiation that actually matters, is the one happening in the theater of your mind. If you win the mental negotiation, the physical negotiation becomes nothing more than a formal ceremony where they hand you the prize you already secured. This brings us to the profound paradox of manifestation. How do you win the mental negotiation? How do you force them to give you the money without entering into a state of desperate begging? The answer is silence. You do not imagine yourself asking for the money at all. Asking implies lack. When you imagine yourself begging, presenting spreadsheets and trying to convince someone to pay you, you are assuming the state of a beggar. A beggar is someone who does not have the gold and is hoping someone else will show mercy and provide it. The universe will take that state of begging, multiply it and reflect it back to you as more situations where you have to beg. You will become a very experienced, very convincing, and very poor beggar. To break this cycle, you must elevate your identity. Kings and queens do not beg. They do not negotiate their worth. They simply receive reports of their expanding wealth. So if asking and begging is keeping you broke, what is the this that you must do instead? How do you command the money without asking? To achieve this state of effortless receiving, you must use one of Neville Goddard's most brilliant and secretive techniques. Do this instead. Use the art of eavesdropping. To eavesdrop means to secretly listen to a conversation that you are not a part of. Instead of imagining a stressful face-to-face interaction where you are trying to convince someone to give you money, you remove yourself from the battlefield entirely. You place yourself in a state of absolute authority, and you simply imagine hearing the confirmation that the money is already yours. Imagine you are trying to close a massive contract with a difficult client. Instead of visualizing the boardroom, instead of visualizing the stressful pitch, and instead of visualizing yourself sweating while you ask for the signature, you skip to the very end. You go to the aftermath. You imagine yourself sitting alone in your living room, drinking a cup of coffee, feeling completely relaxed. And in your imagination, you hear the voice of your business partner or your spouse or your best friend. You hear them speaking to you, and you hear the distinct tone of excitement and disbelief in their voice. You hear them say, I cannot believe they signed the contract so fast. They did not even negotiate the price. They just sent the money. Notice the subtle, magnificent genius of this technique. By eavesdropping on this imaginary conversation, you are bypassing all of your internal resistance. You are not fighting the client in your mind. You are not begging. You are simply receiving the good news from a trusted source. You are adopting the state of the person who has already won. When you hear your friend congratulate you, you are implicitly confirming that the entire ordeal is over. The money is in the bank. The stress is gone. The actors have played their parts perfectly, and you did not have to lift a single physical finger to force them to do it. You can apply this eavesdropping technique to absolutely any financial situation in your life. If you have a debtor who refuses to pay you back and who has been dodging your phone calls for months, stop texting them. Stop chasing them in the physical world. Your physical chasing is just confirming your assumption that they are avoiding you. Instead, you sit quietly, close your eyes, and you hear the notification sound on your phone. You hear the specific chime your banking application makes when a deposit clears. You do not even need to imagine their face. You just hear the sound of the money arriving, and you feel the heavy sigh of relief drop from your shoulders. You say to yourself in your mind, finally, it is done. When you do this correctly, when you truly saturate your mind with the auditory confirmation that the wealth is yours, something miraculous happens to the other person. Remember, they are you pushed out. They are connected to you through the invisible web of the quantum field. When you definitively accept that they have paid you, their subconscious mind receives a direct command from your subconscious mind. They will suddenly be sitting in their house, going about their day, and they will feel an overwhelming, inexplicable urge to resolve their debt with you. They will think it is their own idea. They will suddenly feel guilty for keeping you waiting, or they will suddenly find the exact amount of money they need to pay you back. They will pick up the phone, make the transfer, and apologize for the delay. They will move across the chessboard of life exactly as you commanded them to, simply because you changed the frequency of your inner hearing. You must begin to treat your inner ear as the most sacred tool in your manifestation arsenal. What are you allowing yourself to hear on a daily basis? Are you listening to the echoes of your past failures? Are you listening to the imaginary complaints of your clients? Or are you deliberately tuning your internal radio station to the frequency of congratulations, applause, and financial victory? The people in your life are waiting for your instructions. They are standing on the stage, looking at you, the director, waiting for you to hand them the script. If you hand them a script of poverty, rejection, and endless negotiation, they will play those roles with absolute perfection. They will break your heart and empty your wallet, and they will do it flawlessly because you are the one who directed them to do so. But the moment you tear up that old script, the moment you close your eyes and begin to hear the sweet, relieving sounds of your own inevitable success, the actors must quickly change their costumes. They must align with the new reality you have assumed. Stop asking them for permission to be wealthy. Stop trying to find the magic words that will unlock their generosity. Their generosity does not belong to them. It belongs to your assumption of it. Reclaim your authority. Step into the silence, hear the good news, and watch as the entire world scrambles to give you exactly what you have silently commanded. Now that you understand the profound truth that everyone is simply a mirror reflecting your internal state, we must bring this divine philosophy down to the practical reality of your daily life. It is beautiful to understand this intellectually, but you need to know exactly how to apply it when the rent is due, when the contract is on the table, and when the money is on the line. I promised you a third massive reward, and it is the exact blueprint for handling the 3 most common financial interactions in the human experience. I'm going to show you how to effortlessly hack reality to get a raise, to close a massive client, and to make a stubborn debtor finally pay you back, all without ever asking, begging, or forcing the physical world. Let us begin with the first scenario, which is asking your boss or your company for more money. The traditional, exhausted way of doing this involves gathering a massive amount of physical evidence to prove your worth. You spend weeks building a portfolio of your accomplishments. You practice your pitch in the mirror. You try to anticipate every single objection your boss might have, and you prepare a logical counter-argument for each one. You walk into that office feeling like a gladiator stepping into an arena, hoping the emperor gives you a thumbs up. This is the ultimate state of a beggar. You are handing all of your power to another human being, hoping they will correctly evaluate your worth. But if you have been paying attention to the law of assumption, you know that your boss has no independent ability to evaluate your worth. They can only evaluate you exactly as you secretly evaluate yourself. So, how do you use the puppeteer protocol to force the raise? You do not prepare a logical argument. You prepare a psychological state. Days or even weeks before the physical meeting happens, you completely detach your mind from the anxiety of the ask. You bypass the meeting entirely. You go to your bedroom, you lie down, you close your eyes, and you go to the end. You assume the feeling of the aftermath. You imagine yourself sitting at your desk, looking at your next paycheck, and seeing the new, larger number printed right there on the screen. You feel the physical relief in your chest. You feel the deep satisfaction of knowing you are highly valued. And then you bring in the actor. You imagine hearing your boss's voice, but you do not hear them arguing with you. You hear them saying, "You absolutely deserve this. Thank you for everything you do for this company." You feel the imaginary handshake. You accept the congratulation. You loop this short, simple, beautiful scene in your mind until it feels completely boring and natural. You do this until the idea of your boss saying no feels actually impossible. When you achieve this internal certainty, the physical meeting becomes a mere formality. You will walk into that office and you will barely have to speak. Your boss will look at you, and the universe will compel them to offer you exactly what you have already accepted in your unseen reality. They will think it was their own brilliant management decision to retain a valuable employee, completely unaware that they are just reading the script you handed to them. Now, consider the second scenario. You are an entrepreneur, a freelancer, or a salesperson, and you need to close a massive client. The old way of operating is to chase them. You send the proposal, and then you sit by your phone, sweating, wondering if your price is too high. You send desperate follow-up emails, using corporate jargon to hide your anxiety. You offer discounts before they even ask for them, because your internal state is screaming with the fear of rejection. You are broadcasting the frequency of lack, and the client, who is you pushed out, subconsciously receives that frequency and immediately loses trust in your value. They tell you it is too expensive, or they simply ghost you. To completely reverse this dynamic, you must stop trying to convince the client of your value, and you must start convincing yourself of their absolute delight in paying you. Do you hear the difference? You do not focus on your own desperation. You focus on their satisfaction. When you send that proposal, you immediately close your laptop and you step into the state of the completed transaction. You imagine opening your email and seeing the signed contract. But more importantly, you use the art of eavesdropping. You imagine hearing the client talking to their own team, saying, "This is the best investment we have ever made. They are worth every single penny." You assume the state of someone who is in extremely high demand. People who are in high demand do not check their phone every 5 minutes. They do not offer desperate discounts. They rest in the quiet confidence of their own supreme value. When you hold this state, the client's subconscious mind is forced to align with it. They will look at your high price, and instead of feeling resistance, they will feel a strange, magnetic pull. They will feel an urgent desire to secure your services before someone else does. You did not manipulate their conscious mind with clever sales tactics. You commanded their subconscious mind with your own unshakable assumption. The third scenario is perhaps the most emotionally difficult for people to master. It is the scenario of the stubborn debtor. Someone owes you money. Maybe it is a friend who borrowed cash months ago, or a client who refuses to pay an outstanding invoice. Your natural human reaction is pure anger. You feel betrayed, you feel robbed. You send them angry text messages. You complain about them to anyone who will listen. You label them in your mind as a thief, a liar, and a terrible person. You spend hours having furious imaginary arguments with them in your head, demanding your money back. Listen to me very carefully. Your anger is the exact superglue that is keeping your money stuck in their pocket. By constantly labeling them as a thief and a deadbeat, you are commanding them to continue playing the role of a thief and a deadbeat in the movie of your life. Everyone is you pushed out. If you cast them in the role of the villain who refuses to pay, they are universally obligated to read that script and withhold your money. To get your money back without lifting a finger, you must completely rewrite their character. You must perform a radical act of mental revision. You stop texting them. You drop the anger not because you are letting them get away with it, but because your anger is blocking your wealth. You close your eyes and you strip away the label of the thief. You assume that they are a highly honorable, wealthy, and responsible person. You imagine looking at your bank account and seeing the exact amount they owe you deposited, and then you hear their voice. You imagine them calling you or messaging you saying, "I am so sorry for the delay. I have transferred the funds. Thank you for your patience." You must feel the relief and the gratitude of the resolved situation. You must completely forgive the debt in your mind, meaning you drop the emotional charge of the lack, and you replace it with the emotional fulfillment of the receipt. When you do this, you create an unbearable psychological tension within the debtor. They will suddenly feel an intense, overwhelming urge to clear their conscience. The universe will orchestrate a sudden windfall of money for them, or it will simply compel them to prioritize your payment over everything else. They will pay you back, and they will feel good doing it because you secretly commanded them to be an honorable person. This brings us to the deepest, most mystical mechanism of this entire process. As you listen to these scenarios, your logical mind might be struggling with a massive ethical question. You might be asking, is this telepathy? Is this mind control? Am I manipulating people against their free will? Is it wrong to force someone to give me money? This guilt is the final barrier keeping you in poverty, and we must destroy it right now. To understand why this is not manipulation, you must understand the physics of thought transfer, or what Neville Goddard called the magnetic command. You have been raised to believe that your mind is a private, isolated container inside your skull. You believe that your thoughts belong only to you, and that no one else can hear them. This is the greatest illusion of the physical world. In the realm of quantum reality, there is only one mind. There is only one universal consciousness, and every single human being on this planet is just an individualized center of expression within that one massive mind. You are a localized point of consciousness, and so is your boss, your client, and your debtor. Because you all share the exact same foundational mind, your thoughts are not private. Your thoughts are broadcasts. Think of your brain as a deeply powerful radio transmitter. Every single assumption you hold, every single belief you have about yourself and about others, is a specific frequency that you are constantly broadcasting into the universal ether. The people in your life are radio receivers. When you assume that your boss is going to deny your raise, you are transmitting the frequency of rejection. Because your boss is connected to you through the one universal mind, his subconscious receiver picks up your frequency. The profound secret here is that when he receives your transmitted thought, he does not recognize it as coming from you. He assumes it is his own original thought. He suddenly feels a logical reason to deny you the money, completely unaware that the command originated in your imagination. You are already transmitting commands every single second of every single day. You are already manipulating everyone around you through your unconscious assumptions. Every time you assume someone is going to be rude to you, and they are rude to you, you manipulated them into doing it. Every time you assume a client is going to complain about the price and they complain, you commanded them to do it. The question is not whether or not you are going to influence people. The law of assumption dictates that you cannot stop influencing them. The only question is whether you are going to continue transmitting scripts of poverty, conflict, and rejection, or whether you are going to wake up, take control of the radio tower, and start transmitting scripts of wealth, harmony, and mutual success. When you assume that a client is thrilled to pay your massive fee, you are not harming them. You are actually transmitting a frequency of joy and abundance to them. You are elevating their state. You are assuming that they have more than enough money to pay you effortlessly. Is it evil to assume that someone else is wealthy and generous? Of course not. It is the highest act of spiritual love. You are creating a reality where both of you win. You get the money and they get the profound satisfaction of working with someone of supreme value. You are not a dark manipulator. You are a divine orchestrator, organizing the symphony of human interaction so that it produces beautiful music instead of chaotic noise. You must drop the guilt. You must drop the hesitation. The universe is waiting for you to stop acting like a helpless extra in the background of your own movie and step into the role of the director. You now know exactly why begging for money kept you broke, and you know the exact script to use instead. You have spent your entire life operating from the consciousness of the beggar, but today that ends. The beggar believes that resources are scarce and that he must use physical force, clever words, and exhausting labor to extract a few coins from the hands of the elite. The beggar asks for permission to exist. The beggar asks for permission to be wealthy, but you are not a beggar. You are the operant power of the universe wrapped in human flesh. You are the king or the queen of your own reality, and it is time for you to adopt the kingdom consciousness. A king does not walk into the village square and beg the merchants for gold. A king does not draft a 30-page resume to prove to his subjects that he is worthy of the throne. A king simply sits on the throne. He understands that his authority does not come from his physical strength or his persuasive arguments. His authority comes from his identity. Because he knows who he is, he simply issues a decree. He speaks the word in the silence of his own grand hall, and the entire kingdom mobilizes to make it a physical fact. The king does not care how the gold is transported to the vault. He does not care which specific servant carries the chest. He only concerns himself with the end result. This is how you must live your life from this moment forward. You must stop negotiating with shadows. You must stop trying to comb the mirror. When you desire wealth, when you require money for your expansion and your joy, you do not look out at the physical world and wonder who is going to give it to you. You do not strategize about how to manipulate the messengers. You go within. You sit on the throne of your own magnificent imagination. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You hear the sweet, relieving sounds of victory. You eavesdrop on the congratulations of your friends. You feel the heavy, solid reality of the wealth already existing in your hands. You lock that assumption into place with absolute, unshakable certainty. And then you open your eyes and you walk through the physical world with the quiet, magnetic arrogance of someone who knows a secret that the rest of the world has forgotten. You will still have conversations. You will still send emails. You will still attend meetings. But you will do these things not to force an outcome, but simply to collect the harvest that you already planted in the unseen world. You will watch in absolute awe as the people who once ignored you suddenly seek you out. You will watch as the doors that were locked tight suddenly swing wide open. You will watch as the actors read the new script flawlessly, handing you the money, the opportunities, and the wealth, completely convinced that it was their own brilliant idea to do so. You are the master of the simulation. It is time to stop asking the illusion for a favor and start commanding the reality to obey. If you have stayed with me until this exact moment, it is because your subconscious mind is finally ready to accept the crown. It is because you are done begging and you are ready to rule. I want you to anchor this new identity right now. I want you to perform a physical action to seal this divine contract with yourself. Do not ask the universe for permission anymore. Go down to the comment section below this video right now and type these exact words. I do not ask, I receive. Type it with authority. Type it as a decree from the throne. Let your physical fingers translate your new internal law into the physical world. I do not ask, I receive. The days of begging are over. The actors are waiting. Go write your masterpiece.